Good afternoon. This is Pam with Follow Your Brush, and I am naming this episode in my watercolor world of Yes, I bought that and I'll buy it again. Some of the things that I have purchased in 2025 that I thought you might be interested in, they were items that I was wanting, seeing elsewhere, and as I am apt to do, when I see something, I just go ahead and buy it. So let's talk about some of the things that I purchased in 2024 that I have really enjoyed and will buy again. I have several items here, and as you know, or may not know, I am a watercolorist, so let me back up a minute. And I love everything watercolor and pigment and running and dripping and all of the above. So I just love watercolor. I'm not a master artist. I'm an adventurist and I'm an explorist. I'm a what-ifer. So if I see something that I want to try, I am more than likely to say, let me try that. So today I'm just going to take you on some of those journeys, and then I have some other things, a follow-up that I want to do on the paper that I bought from Fumui. And I'll do that as a separate video though. If you know me, and you might, and you may not, I like to paint. Can I tell you the truth? I do a lot of my painting in my recliner. I've had some surgeries this year and for my back and joints and achiness. And so that's required a lot of sitting and recovery time. And I have a iPad stand. It's a pillow that has different layers of to be able to prop up my iPad, but it also enables me to sit that on my lap and prop up my painting, my watercolor surface, either a sketchbook or I tape things onto a clipboard. And I just do a lot of my painting, honestly, just from my recliner. And be that as it may, I have a studio, but I just haven't gotten back there much this year because of health issues. So that's neither here nor there. But here are some of the things that I have found that are most helpful. One of my big wish list items last Christmas was the Daniel Smith watercolor sticks. And I just practically begged my son and daughter for these. And they came through. And as you can see, these have been used and maybe even abused a little bit. I have several of these cases. My son bought me a full set last Christmas that came with, I think, 4 cases. I have purchased some individually and then have ordered the cases empty so I could put them in, and it helps to keep them in. So this is just one of about 5 or 6 cases that I have of the Daniel Smith watercolor sticks. And when I show you some of the palettes that I like, you'll also see another reason why I like the watercolor sticks. You can paint directly from these, or you can also cut off the tips and refill your pans, which I do often because of I'm getting old. Let's face it, I just had another birthday and I told my daughter I'm not getting there. I'm not getting old, I have arrived. So squeezing tubes for me just flat out is difficult, but these watercolor sticks are awesome because I can just cut them when they're dry and put them in my palettes to refill. And the colors that aren't available in sticks, then I do buy the tubes, and I enjoy that as well. So that's one of my most favorite items that I would purchase again, and more than likely will in 2026, because as you can see, some of these are getting low. So Daniel Smith watercolor sticks. So let me put that to the side. And let me get to something else. As I said, I like to paint compactly, I put it that way. And I also like porcelain palettes, and I found these online on Amazon, the Bowerbird palettes, and they are ceramic little porcelain palettes, and these are so nice. They actually hold a lot of paint, and as you can see here, I have refilled them with the sticks. So you cut off the stick and put it in there, just put a little bit of water in there, and then they stay. They're not going anywhere. They're not falling out. These are my lunar colors: lunar earth, lunar red rock, lunar blue, lunar violet, and lunar black. Those are tubes, so I did squeeze those in there. And but I love my little porcelain palettes. So that, if you like small palettes and painting compactly, that's another way. And then here's another edition that I got from Bowerbird. This is also the ceramic or porcelain, and this is another selection that I put in here with my watercolor sticks. And this right here in the corner, I put in squeezed in some gouache, some white gouache. So if I'm painting and want to do touch-ups or make one of these colors, mix one of these colors with some gouache, I can do so down here without contaminating my original colors. So that's from Bowerbird, and their little travel ceramic color box, it says on that one, and this one, they come empty and then you fill them yourself. And I really love them. I enjoy them. I like the mixability of the ceramic surface. Another thing that I bought that I did a video on, I bought the Go Draw little tiny palette, which is in my purse that I take with me everywhere. And then I also bought this one from Blue Star Craft. And I like this as well. And again, I filled these little tiny holes with my Daniel Smith watercolor sticks. And this is fun. When I go out anywhere, I'm seriously anywhere, doctor's office, dropping somebody else off for an appointment, waiting for something, I always have paint and water with me because I'm like an addict. I can't go anywhere without it. So that's another, I probably won't buy another one. If I buy something else, it'll be a Bowerbird, or I'm going to talk about this in a minute, my Art Toolkit palettes, because this I already have, so I could just refill this. But that's a fun way, another fun way to take things on the go. Then, speaking of on the go, when I do paint, in the supplies I carry in my purse, I carry a watercolor brush that, has the water in it that you kind of squeeze. But for travel brushes, I also have some that I use actually on a daily basis. And these are my Rosemary and Company, and I think these are probably my, I don't know. I also have some Escoda that are just stupendous, but these I bought this last year. Rosemary and Company. This one is Red Sable, and it's a nice length. It's kind of separated now because it's dry, but I use these all the time. They have a great tip, and they just work beautifully, and I always like to reach for these. This is a little bit damp still from yesterday. This is a synthetic, and it is R13. This one is R11, the Red Sable, pointed. And this one is R10, which is also synthetic. So those are 3 travel brushes that I really enjoy using at home. These I actually, even though it says travel brushes, I use these at home in my recliner, to tell you the truth. I have them propped up next to me I have a little container that has all my supplies sitting right next to me, so I can reach them handily. But these are by Rosemary and Company, and I don't want to mess that up, so I'm going to wait till I have some water and put that in there so it doesn't catch. So those are some travel brushes that I purchased that I enjoy. And actually, I know they will last me for a long time. This is from Fumui, and I know some of their brushes have gotten criticism early on, but it seems to me like they are listening and improving their brushes. These are dual tip brushes, and you'll see right here we have the one on this one is a number 10 round, and on this end is a dagger, number 4 dagger. You see that? When they first come, they're kind of stiff, so you have to rinse them really well. This is a double-sided, a number 6 round and a number 4 cat's tongue. So when you take off, like I say, my hands have trouble. When you take off, I can't get the number 6 one off. This is the cat tongue. I haven't used these much, so they're still kind of stiff. Cat's tongue, and the other one is a round. So they're fun if you want to just have a variety, and you could take them with you. This is a number 1 detail. Okay, it's coming undone. Yay! Actually, I like my detail brushes a little bit tinier. I do have some itty bitties from Tracy Levinson that I enjoy for my detail. But this is a nice detail brush too. It just depends on how detailed you want to get. And this one is a flat, 1/4 inch flat. So you have a nice variety there in that travel set from Fumui. And the quality's not bad. The quality is not bad at all. They don't claim, this particular set does not claim to be sable. So I think they are a synthetic, maybe synthetic squirrel. Okay, then it's got to be my number 1 all-time favorite, and I've done other videos on these as well. And this is my, you can see I've had this one for a long time. I bought this one a couple years ago from Art Toolkit. And I do have others that are smaller in various sizes. In fact, I have numerous sets of these. Happens to be clean at the moment because I cleaned it. But this is the one that I kind of use the most, sitting next to me in my recliner. Has a lot of colors in it. A lot of my favorite colors. And a lot of these are poured from paint tubes. And then some, recently I've added the paint sticks if I had it, like this opera pink. I have a potter's pink here that's from a tube. These were all poured when I first got them. Here's a moon glow that has a part of a stick in it. But I do enjoy the Art Toolkit, and I'll put a link to their site. And they're coming out with a new holiday set. And they have different sizes. They have little demis that you can carry with you in your bag, and comes with a little watercolor brush with the water that you push out. So Art Toolkit, I would be remiss if I didn't mention them. Another thing that I like to do with the purchase of my little tiny palettes, I also got into painting little little miniature paintings. Here's one that I did of a little ornament I did from a class that I took with Jill Williams. Another snow scene, little minis. I use my little scraps for these. It's some holly bush. And so it's a tree that I was just playing with. This one I was just mindlessly painting, and then every time I look at it, I'm like, I really like that. And I have a new book that I'm going to show you here in a minute. And so I think I'm going to use this for a bookmark for myself. But the other thing I also bought for my little mini paintings, and that is this little rounded hole punch. So I can round the edges of my little mini paintings if I wish to. And then they're kind of cute. It just gives them a little extra appeal. So that's another thing I've been doing, is painting these little itty bitty mini paintings. And move that over here. Then, okay, this is my, yes, I bought that. Talk about expensive painting brushes. These are inexpensive brushes. I bought these at Kroger when I was doing my grocery shopping. They're actually pastry brushes for basting your turkeys, your butter on pies, whatever. They're basting brushes. And they are kind of soft though, and I thought they might be fun just to play with for stippling. You see how they're kind of uneven. And so that's something else I bought just because it was there. So these are kind of fun too. I played with them wet on wet the other day and did a painting. Okay, I got to keep myself going here so that I don't miss anything. Yes, I did it. I bought the color cubes. These are by Sarah Renee Clark. And if you have been anywhere online watching anybody, you have seen these talked about. And I had never purchased them there before, but they really intrigued me. And this is the set number 4. And they just have all kind of themes. This one is Cakealicious, and it tells you the numbers of the cards if you want to use that color scheme, as well as a suggested picture showing those colors. But it can use it to help you plan your paintings and how you want to select your colors and have them be in the same family to help with your continuity in your painting. So I did go ahead and get these. I have never used them before. I know a lot of people talk about how they've used them and how they love them. And I'm not quite sure at this point how I'm going to use them. As a reference, obviously, to help me select color combinations that I like, that I enjoy. I do a lot of that online anyway with Buffy. She's Buffy Kaufman. She's already suggested the colors. She shows how they play together. But this is another option for me or for anyone. And so, yes, I did. Yes, I bought it. And when you find one that you like, it actually has a little card that you can use as a bookmark to save the place where you took it out. Another idea that I have had that I have not done yet, but I am thinking about it. This next year is getting myself a planner, not just a regular planner for calendar planning, for scheduling and so forth, but a planner of that same nature that I can use to keep track when I've painted, because I paint daily, but I'm always jumping around to different paints and brands, and actually keep track of what I painted and what colors I used and what went well and what didn't go well. And I thought that might be interesting. And so that's just a thought I had this morning. So there's another thing that I purchased. Okay, let's keep going. Yes, I did. I purchased the Etchr. Well, actually, it's from Etchr, but it's their new Etchr sketchbook, and this feels so yummy. I can't. It's soft, but it's firm. It's just, this is the orange and the blue, but they're now using Etchr paper in their perfect sketchbooks. And here's some that I was playing with, but it's got the deckled edges, hand torn, and well, I'm sure there's not somebody sitting there tearing all these pages. I don't know how they do it, but it's got the deckled edges. But that's my this is just an imaginary scene that I did on the first page. That is something else. Yes, I did buy this year. I love my Etchr sketchbooks. The other thing that I often use as well, as far as Etchr is concerned, and that is I like this size. I like the 6 by 10 inch, and it's spiral. And this one I did in half the page. I taped it in half, and then I did cut it. This was a lesson with Jill Williams on a candle, and so I did that on this Etchr. And the next thing that I purchased that I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to do a separate video on the Fumui paper, but this was recommended to me by Christy Jacobson, who said it was recommended by Angela Fair. If you watch Angela or are in my group, you're familiar with Christy. We're buddies, painting buddies. Watercolor Painting, A Comprehensive Approach to Mastering the Medium by Tom Hoffman. And this is just excellent. And I have just received this yesterday. So I've just started to get into this. But it's like just the beginning parts that I'm reading. It's like he's a mind reader. Like he's standing over my shoulder talking to me about my thoughts as I approach a painting and understanding watercolor. It just, I just have really enjoyed just glancing through this. I haven't really gotten into it deeply yet, but already he gives you ideas on how to approach a painting. For instance, here it says, this book presents a series of questions to keep in mind for the following elements of watercolor painting: translating the subject into the language of watercolor, knowing what not to paint, which often can be a problem, seeing in layers, understanding value, sharing control of wetness. This is one of my big bugaboos. Getting the most out of your color, developing an instinct for composition, becoming your own teacher. Learning to make informed decisions will have a profound effect on your painting practice. Wet paint will always involve an element of surprise, and that's the good news. As your awareness and skills and technique develop, you'll find that you can let go of more and more control and specificity, allowing the paint to have its way. And that's what I like to do. I like to have the paint have its own way. But you also have to have some idea what you're doing. Approaching the shapes, simplifying, understanding value, which makes a big difference. Value has taken me a long time, working with hard and soft edges. So gauging how much paint you need, that's another issue. So that's another thing that I just bought for myself, for my own Christmas present. So these are the things that I bought in 2025 that I would recommend. And, oh, one last one. Let me look at that, show you this. This is by Grabby. I guess that's how you pronounce it. It's their calendar. This was the calendar for a 12-month calendar for 2025, which I purchased. And so each month you can paint what's going on in your life. In October, we had a lot of spiders. September, we had to say goodbye to this poor kitty. We'd had him for over 13 years and he passed away. In August, I don't know why I chose the cow. There was a reason. Oh, I bought a big supply of meat from the meat market. So in August, I painted a cow. In July, we actually had an honest-to-goodness meteorite that came through the sky and landed in our county. Went through someone's house, through their roof, all the way through their floor. And so that was in July. So this is a lot of fun. And it just kind of is a way that you can go through the year and have to look back and remember what you were doing at a particular time and month. And I've went ahead and bought one for 2026. So there's some suggestions, things that I have purchased. And I hope you might find that helpful if you're looking for something and have money burning a hole in your pocket. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and following, and all those things we do on YouTube. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.